Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Seventh Rule with Sirach Lofton and our guest today, Camille Calvet. My name is Ryan T. Husk, and we are celebrating Aron Eisenberg. Hello, Sirach and Camille.
Hello. Hi, Camille.
Hi, Sirach.
This is our first episode since since our tribute to Aron. And, it's important that we get a lot of people talking about how they feel.
Yeah, I'm honored to do it.
So Camille here, she is a makeup and makeup effects artist, and she worked on many episodes of Deep Space Nine. She was, I think, Aron's personal makeup artist. Can you tell us a little bit about that whole process? Because we hardly know anything about it.
Yeah, I was his makeup artist towards the end when his character started really building. Because when he first came on, he wasn't a regular, and he wasn't in every episode, and so they would send him to background artists, and they would do his makeup. But then when he got his storyline got bigger and bigger, he came down to the makeup trailer where all the regulars were. So he loved that. Moving up in the world,
I
bet. Back up to the other. But yeah, no, his was when we first started, it was just the whole head, and it comes down the neck, so it's a whole cowl. And then when he very first started, I think he only had a nose. He didn't have the cheeks, the fraggy cheeks. And then as he got older, then he got the whole wraparound that they did. So yeah, he was completely encased in it.
Well, it says, I believe you were in like over 80 episodes. So you weren't just doing the Aron episodes, right? Did you?
Oh, no.
What else did you specialize in? Did you do like all the Ferengi, or did you just kind of dabble in?
I was the key makeup. And so I was in charge of everything, but I was in charge of Nana I did her for the 7 years. So, and we all had our personal people that we did, so that and I did her, and I also took care of Michael Dorn when he came over. So those were my two specialties.
You know, I guessed that because when I looked at your IMDb, there was something, I can't remember what the show was, but it said Michael Dorn's personal makeup artist on something just recently. And so that's why I was like, I bet you she did Dorney too.
That was on TED too. I was the last person to ever take his head off, and he said, I'm never ever going to put that thing back on. And
well, Captain Picard might have something to say about that.
Yeah, maybe. But he on TED 2, they convinced him to go ahead and do it, and he said only if I came in and put it back on for him. So I got to go back and do it. His makeup.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
This is Ted the teddy bear movie with Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
I didn't see Ted 2. I didn't see him.
Oh, you got to see it. It's hysterical.
Oh wow!
He goes to a Comic-Con, so you will.
Enjoy
that.
I'm listening.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I can only imagine Ted at a Comic-Con.
Yeah, he brought. Oh gosh. Yeah, but Michael brought me a picture of a really bad Klingon that he saw at a convention, and he said, "You have to do this." And I was like, "Okay, it's a good thing I'm not really working that much anymore." So.
No.
Klingons are so mean. Sirach, you were in that main makeup trailer, right? I mean, you were in there. Do you remember, were you ever like just sitting next to them, or was she always just kind of?
I remember Camille, of course. We see each other all the time. You know, when you get up in the morning, it's like 6 o'clock in the morning, and you're walking into the makeup trailer. You know, it's the start of your day. So
yeah,
really,
Sirach was right next to me. He got done by Mark Landon. Not Mark Landon. Mark. Oh gosh, and that was right next to my chair. Was to Nana's chair.
Yeah,
so always there.
Sirach, before we ask Camille this question, do you remember constantly hearing Aron make bad jokes while he was getting his makeup put on?
I just remember constant bad jokes. I didn't specifically remember it. When during the makeup thing, he would actually be quiet. He wouldn't talk that much because it is it is, really delicate work on the face. And plus it's also time to catch up on sleep if you're going to be there for an hour or more. See, my makeup didn't last more than, 10, 15 minutes, and I was in and out. So I didn't have to take long naps in the makeup trailer.
Who was it that was notorious for being in and out of the makeup? It was Colum, right? Apparently Colum would go in and be like, whatever, it's fine.
He hated it. It was great when we got to make him up as a Klingon. I've never heard more whining in my life.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he would love to whine for things that he didn't like, and that was one of them.
So Camille, let's hear more about just your whole experience with Aron, because you must have worked on him a ton of times.
Yeah.
And do you remember the first time you met him or your first impression of him, or was it just another day at the job?
Well, when he got on there, he was, like I said, he was always in the upstairs makeup room because he'd get one of the background makeup artists, and his makeup artist would change every time. But of course, we knew him because he's a principal and he was on set, and he was just funny as hell. He was always making us laugh. But in the chair, he was great. He was professional. I mean, he was so quiet. He really respected the art of makeup, and he was great about taking care of his makeup. But some aren't that great about it. At the gym, Nana, she's sweating off her nose. But Aron was excellent about it. But he did when his character started building, then he got to come down, and that's when I took him over. If it wasn't a huge scene that with Nana, so I would have the two of them, which was really hard because of if I had them in both the scene, I've got him in orange paint, and then I've got her, and it was like I have to keep my hands clean because I'm touching each one of them. But there was one time, so he started coming back down to the trailer more often. And then at one point he had to go back up to a different makeup artist. And he was not happy about this. And I still to this day don't know if it was a joke or what, but you
could never tell.
Yeah. Because he was always cracking jokes and everything, but he did not want to go back up there. So he came down to me after his makeup was done. And he says, I got to talk to you. And I said, what? And he's like, okay, my makeup artist went to the bathroom. And when he came back, his hand smelled like poop. And I really need you to talk to him about that. And I was like, what?
Now, see, you're right. That's something that you'll never know if he was
serious or if he was just trying to get back into our trailer or what. And I was like, really? Oh God, I have to go talk to this makeup artist.
I wish you could validate that story and tell us whether he was just using that to get into the makeup trailer, or if
I never got to ask him that, but I was
you know what? Even if he were here, he probably still would keep the facade going. We would still never know.
Yeah, but that was one of my best memories about him. I was like, are you
wow.
I have to talk to this
so bad
makeup artist.
Yeah, that's an awkward conversation, right?
Very. Extremely.
Oh, man. It was good to see you at the funeral, though, Camille. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, please.
But yeah, I hadn't seen you, and it's been all these years.
Well, I did do on the documentary, the panel. I was with you.
Right. But and that was the first time in how many years?
20
years.
Yeah.
Right? 18 years.
Yeah, no, that was another Aron thing about, we were talking about at the memorial how kind he could be. And when I heard about the documentary, because we were always in touch on Facebook and Twitter, and he called me to do Renegades, and I couldn't do it. But so I called him to see if he could get me tickets to the documentary. And
real quick before we get into that documentary, I do want to touch on that Renegades thing a little more, because I was producing that. Yes. And I remember that was very, not just suggested, but he said that was part of his contract. He said, I want a lady named Camille because she's so good. And we're like, dude, can we afford her? You know what? But he's like, she's so good. She's the best. She's who I want unless she's unavailable. So we obviously were like, okay. I mean, we already had the whole makeup team ready to go, but we're like, okay, she must be great. And Aron is a very loyal, very loving, very compassionate person, as we all know. So we're like, great. Now, you weren't able to do it, but just so you know,
I made myself available.
He didn't just ask you; he demanded it.
He was adamant about it.
Yeah, he loved you. So anyway, please continue.
So I just called him and said, maybe you know someone could you get me some tickets? And he's like, yeah, I can get you in, only if you sit on the panel with me. And I was like,
oh, wow.
Okay. Because it's not my forte, but but that was how sweet he was. It was, and it was so great seeing everybody and catching up with him, because even though we talked a lot, through social media, we hadn't really actually seen each other in so long. So, and it's,
Rock, are you noticing a theme here that he was always negotiating? He was always saying, okay, I'll do this if you do that. It's very Ferengi-like.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that reminds me of when he gave me the documentary. He told me, he said, Kai and Ira want you to have the doc. So he gave me the DVD of it, and I said, okay, cool. And I took it, and then he said, that'll be $30. And he was dead serious. He was dead serious looking at me. So I just, he's always joking, and that's the type of person he was, He's just always making jokes. And I think that was what I enjoyed most about him, is that he was laughing all the time and just, enjoying life in that type of way.
Yeah. And he just enjoyed being on set. He just loved it.
Yeah. He was so passionate about his part and the role that he was playing. He wanted to get it right. He wanted to make sure that it was done. His wardrobe, if it had to be, his makeup, everything. He wanted to make sure. My teeth, I don't have my teeth. I don't have my teeth. So what a pleasure.
He even brought those teeth to the set of Renegades and Cosmos that we cast him in, because he put those in it as an alien. He used those teeth, and he still had them at his desk.
Oh.
Yeah.
So Camille, I do want to ask you this. Besides him smelling poop on the guy's thumb when he's putting nose prosthetics in his nostrils, besides that and like teeth stuff, do you have any memories of Aron that really stick out, whether it was just like a general idea of how he acted or who he was, or like specific,
both of you at the memorial kind of brought up that sometimes he could be a little annoying.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
I think you said on your drive down to San Diego.
Oh my God.
That was so good. For those of you at home, Sirach said something to the effect of, when they're driving down to San Diego Comic-Con together, he was like, I wasn't sure if it was something I wanted to do.
Yeah, being in the car with Aron for 2.5 hours, you never know which way to go, because he's an attack dog. He doesn't give up. If he senses weaknesses, he's like a shark. He'll come and go for the bite.
I think we should say tenacious instead.
He's very tenacious.
Yes.
Yeah, he's very tenacious. Yes.
If he senses weaknesses,
but always in a playful way. It's not to really harm you, but he likes the I got you moments.
Exactly.
That's when you know he loves you, as if he's zinging you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, what were you saying, Camille?
I think it was Paper Moon, or because that was a huge show for him, and and of course I was doing his makeup because he was the star of that show. So he would not stop asking everybody about what he should do, how his character should be. It got to the point, I think I threw him out of the trailer. Because I was like, why are you asking me? Go talk to Avery. Go talk to Avery. Because he was like pacing up and down, up and down. How do you think I should do this? What should I do? And it was just he was passionate about it.
Welcome to my world. Every time I work with him. This is literally every day we work together. We would rehearse the scenes, And then he would ask, should I do it like this? Did I say it right? Was the voice right? Did it sound accurate? I was like,
Meanwhile, Sirach's 14 years old. He's like, I don't know. I'm just studying for my math quiz.
I don't know what I used to tell him all the time. I don't know what a Ferengi is supposed to sound like. So you're doing a good enough job for me, you know?
Yeah, for me too. Like, you're orange. Go work.
You're orange. You got a butt head. I buy it.
Yeah.
But he was so passionate about getting it right, and it meant so much to him. Like the performance, whether people liked the performance, whether he was selling it, he didn't want to come across as not authentic. He wanted it to be real, and that's why he spent so much time trying to work on the voice or work on the line delivery, you know. And he, like I said, he was conscious about his wardrobe, his hands. He wouldn't shake people's hands sometimes. No. You know, he'd give you the hands and say, no, I don't want to mess your thing up, you know. So he was very conscious in that way, self-conscious a lot, but also conscious of the work that he was doing.
Yeah, the bottom line is that he respected the work to the utmost degree. He respected the work. No matter how much he razzed people or joked with people, he never disrespected them. And no matter how much he had fun on set, he never disrespected, you know, the set. And it was always with the best of intentions with him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, part of it too is that I just like I did, and I know he felt the same way. When you're working around such talented people, we have the best makeup artists, we have the best special effects, the wardrobe. I mean, we have really talented camera operators, our DPs, everybody's doing something.
Line producers,
producers, writers. I mean, we have such a great wealth of talented people putting so much together, and especially when it comes to the actors, which is one thing I think Armin said at the funeral. Armin said, you were a good actor. You know, you were a great actor. And I think that means a lot to Aron to be recognized as a good or great actor by another great actor.
Yeah,
I think that's really what he wanted.
I was watching the episodes, and he really, really was good. It was. Yeah. I was like, wow. So it totally started crying because I was like, wow, he's so good in this.
So good. And Ira always talks about it, but the arc of his storyline, his character goes from like this really kind of like you were saying, kind of a background Camille character or non-major character, to literally starring in his own episode in Paper Moon. So he has such this great arc, you know, from being this irrelevant side character to like a captain. And, you know, I think that speaks volumes to just how he is, the kind of work ethic he had as a person. He was able to shine in a way that the writers felt, let's continue developing him, let's keep moving him up. It's because of who he was, what he was doing, and what they were seeing on film. They gave him more and more opportunities. So I feel like, you know, he would like nothing more than to be recognized as a fine actor, as somebody who was really good at his craft.
You know, you're right. That's the kudos to the two main components of that. Number one is it's excellent writing, to write those kinds of story arcs and to identify the potential in an actor and in a character and to maximize that. And the other side of that is the fact that as such a great actor, he influenced the writers to want to write more, to think, wow, look at what he can do. This character, he made the character more interesting than they probably ever imagined. And so they went along for the ride that he created. And you're right, it's a testament to him.
And I want to bring one other thing up. Camille, we were talking before, because you look exactly the same, or if not better, than when you were working with me 20 years ago.
What's your secret?
What's your secret? What do you do? Like, how are you doing this?
Well, all those prosthetics that I used to use, we started using silicone prosthetics on the very last year of Deep Space Nine. And I noticed some of my actresses came to me, and myself started getting chest wrinkles from sleeping on your side. And I said, I'm gonna figure something out. So I made a prototype, and I realized that silicone that we were using is also used for healing scars. And at the same time, I had thyroid cancer on our very last episode, and I had sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry. And they gave me this little tiny, who Aron was so wonderful to me during that whole time, because I had to leave the last episode and go have surgery, and I didn't come back until our final day. And he was so wonderful to me. But at the time, I realized that the silicone that we're using to heal scars, and I said, oh, it's right in front of me my whole time. So I made a prototype, and basically I'm treating.
Is that the same silicone you were using in makeup? Is that the same?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but I've gone to medical grade silicone, but I made a prototype, and it just started helping with wrinkles. And so I started a business called Silk Skin, and I make anti-wrinkle pads, and they're basically made out from prosthetics. And
wow.
Yeah, so it just now I have them for the face, and I've developed hand treatments and everything. Because of all my experience as a makeup effects artist, I had a lot of lab experience. So so that's how I made them, and that's all I do now is run my business.
We're going to put the link to your website on this video. Okay, those of you that are listening, just go to the video on YouTube or whatever. And those of you on YouTube, just check in the description box. We'll add that. But that's
what is it called again? How do you spell it?
Silk Skin, as in silicone. SILCSKIN.
Nice.
Silk Skin. That's awesome.
So
for the hands as well. You have stuff.
I actually developed a hand cream. Same idea though. I made it out of silicone.
Do you jump out at people at the mall and squirt lotion?
Yeah. No, the funny thing is though, the facial pads, you do kind of look like an alien. So whenever anyone finds out that I've made them when I was on Star Trek, and they're like, "Oh, okay, that's why."
Wow. That's brilliant.
So is this something you sleep with overnight, or?
Yeah.
Wow.
I have some here. They're just little pads.
Wait, hold that up again.
And they're just little pieces of silicone that you wear at night. That's the one that looks like an alien.
Mm-hmm. Now, is that are those reusable, or is that what's the use on those?
They are. They're reusable for up to 30 days.
Okay.
Just like we reuse the prosthetics on Star Trek.
Yeah, that's great.
That's
so
awesome.
There's nothing you need to apply to adhere to it.
No. It works the same way it works on scars. It starts bringing the skin's moisture to the surface, so that'll plump out existing wrinkles. And then it works on the same way as with scars. It starts bringing collagen into that area. The pressure from the pad starts bringing collagen to the area. So that helps with wrinkles as well. And I totally noticed this on the actors when we started using silicone prosthetics, how their skin was actually really nice when we took it off as opposed to when we used to use the foam latex. It's
almost like new skin, right? It kind of just feels like it's new skin. I've worn a lot of prosthetics too, and I kind of would get that sensation where it almost like when you pull off a Band-Aid and you're like, oh, it's like new skin,
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Wow, I had no idea. This is good information.
Yeah.
That's crazy. What a turn, though. I guess it makes sense. It's a logical thing for you to be in the cosmetics industry, right? Mm-hmm. But it's so amazing how it came upon you, how the idea just clicked, right? From the thyroid.
Well, that and the thing that, I had silicone prosthetics in front of me, and then they gave me this little flimsy piece of silicone, and I was like, oh, wait a second. That's my idea. It's right in front of me all the time.
I could do this, yeah.
Yeah.
And how nice is it being your own boss now?
It's great. It's really good. It's like I haven't I haven't headed a show in like 6-7 years. But I also have twins. They're now 14, so they don't need me as much. But when I finally took over the business instead, because my husband, the last show I did, I had so many prosthetics working on. I was on called The Cape. Steve Oster from DC.
Steve.
He was a producer, and we
What
had
a
a
wonderful
ton of
guy.
prosthetics. And I was also running the business and doing that, and I ended up in the hospital from exhaustion. So my husband at the time was like, "That's it. You do one or the other." And so I just decided to make a real big go of it and just do my business.
It's awesome.
So we've only got about a minute left here. Camille, thank you so much for taking time out of your workday, in the middle of your workday, for us. But before we go, do you have any, last words or things that you want to say that you want people to know about Aron? Because, the whole point of this series is that we won't ever be able to make any new memories, with Aron or have new moments. So I was just hoping, and we were thinking that we just have to, exchange our memories with each other so we get, new thoughts, new memories. Do you have anything?
One thing, when we did the documentary, when I went to do the documentary and I got to meet Melissa, and we said then, he was so proud of her and introducing her, and we said then, why don't we get together? Well, let's just get together and for dinner. My husband, because my husband worked on the show as a cameraman, and I was like, please just let's get together, and we never did. And so that's kind of something that is really sticking with me. So at the memorial, and I saw all those people, it's like, okay, we are getting together. Okay, I'm going to see you, and I'm going to see you. And so, yeah, I just really miss him, and I really wish we had gotten together.
That's something that a lot of people have said, that they were going to get together, or they were going to have lunch, or they were going to do this project, or they had to get, and, it's just that constant reminder of like, tell the people what you want to tell them, do the things that you say you're going to do, because we just never know.
Yeah, but, I don't ever know if his story about the hams was a joke or not.
Yeah. Well, you know what? He's brought us together in this way, and that's really the beauty of what we're doing. We're able to celebrate his memory, and he has brought us together. And that's why it's a real pleasure for you to be here and speak about him, and for us to catch up and reminisce about the happy days and the fun times. So
thank you.
Thank you, Camille. Thank you. And anybody else listening, that Silkskin works, because I'm telling you, this woman looks the same as she did 25 years ago.
That's unbelievable.
So I'm telling you, she's just it works. It works. I'm not
only the president, I'm also the client.
It works. But thank you so much, Camille. Thank you. And give my love to everybody. Bobby D and the gang.
They'll be over Sunday for dinner.
All right.
Nice.
All right. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you so very much, Camille, for joining us. And we will have that website in the video description. Twin
boys or twin girls?
Boy and a girl.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
Non-committal.
You got it over with. I wish that's so lucky. It's so lucky.
Well, you're what, an 8-year-old?
I have an 8-year-old. Yeah. I just have one, but it would have been nice to get two at the same time. That's a great fortune.
It was so fun. I remember your growing spurt that would, every time you walked in, we'd be absolutely amazed. And now my son is going through that. And it's like, he walks out of his room and he's taller every day.
He's taller the next day. He outgrows shoes.
Yeah. And you did that. We watched you do that.
I did. Gosh. Wardrobe fitting. I need another one.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, thank you so much, Camille, for being a part of the show and just speaking up. We appreciate it.
Great. I can't wait to see more of them.
Great.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Camille.
Okay. Bye.